Okay, children. So, welcome back to our offline classes, children. So, in the last class, we have learnt about the life cycle of butterfly. Okay, in life cycle of butterfly, there we had 4 stages. Yes or no? In the life cycle of butterfly, we had 4 stages. One is egg. First stage is egg. Second stage is caterpillar. Third stage is pupa. Fourth stage is adult butterfly. Yes or no? So, in today's class, we will be learning about the life cycle of a frog. So in frog, the life cycle, the stages will be 3 stages. Okay, the life cycle of frog contains 3 stages, whereas in butterfly it was 4 stages, whereas in frog it is 3 stages. Okay, the first stage, let us go with eggs. Okay, the first stage of frog is eggs. As usual, even in butterfly also it was the eggs. Here also it is eggs. So here, what happens? A female frog, okay, a female frog, we usually know females will lay the eggs, okay. So here, female frogs are laying the eggs, okay. Female frogs will lay the eggs. It is not in 1 or 2, it will be in thousands of eggs. You can take it as they will lay thousands of eggs, children. At a time, they can lay thousands of eggs, okay. So they will lay thousands of eggs at a time in the shallow waters. That is, it will in the shallow waters, like it may be pond, okay, it may be pond, lake, okay, or it may be pond, lake, or you can see the puddles, okay, puddles also, lake or puddles, puddles, okay. So it may be usually the eggs, okay, the frogs which lay eggs will be near the shallow water, that is the pond, lakes, or the puddles. So the egg will be covered by jelly-like slippery material. It will not be like we have learned the structure of an egg. Okay. So the egg which I have shown you, it was very hard-shelled egg. Okay. But here, the eggs of these frogs, okay, it is not hard-shelled eggs. It is jelly-like, it will be in the form of jelly. Okay. It is like slippery. Okay. It is like slippery. Okay, it is not very hard. It is jelly-like slippery material. So here what happens? This eggs, okay, the eggs of frogs will be floating. Okay, or you can say that, yes, it will be floating in the clump. Okay, group of eggs. Okay, you can say a group of eggs. Okay, here the frogs' eggs will be floating. Okay, it will be floating. We call it as clump. Okay, it will be floating. We call it as clump. Okay, we call this as, okay, we call that eggs as frog swan. We call that eggs as frog swan. S-P-A-W-N. We call that cluster of eggs. Okay, we call that cluster of eggs which will be floating. We call the frog's egg as frog span. Okay, we call it as frog span. So here what happens, this jelly-like slippery material, it will protect the egg. Okay. So how the hard shell of the egg protects, same way here, even this jelly-like slippery material will also protect the egg. Understood? It will also protect the egg. Okay. Later on, the egg, okay, so here slowly the egg will start developing its embryo. Slowly it will start developing the embryo. Okay, so this jelly-like slippery will protect the egg, and slowly the eggs will start developing into the embryo. Okay, the female eggs will lay the eggs, and the floating eggs, cluster of eggs, we call it as frog span. Okay, so we'll move on with the next stage. The next stage comes with the tadpole. Okay, next stage is the tadpole. The next stage will be tadpole. Okay. The next stage is tadpole. Once the egg starts developing into the embryo, next stage will be the tadpole. Here, the eggs will hatch soon. Okay, you know what is the meaning of hatch? The egg breaking. Okay, the egg will break its hard shell, and once it starts coming out, we call that as hatching. That process we call it as hatching. So here the eggs will hatch very soon, and small black tadpoles will come out. Okay, directly the frog will not be coming out. Like how even in butterfly also, from eggs caterpillar, then the cocoon stage, pupa stage, next it starts with the adult butterfly. Same way here also, after the eggs, the next stage it will not be the adult frog, the next stage is tadpole. The eggs will be hatching out and small black like you can say a black like tadpoles coming out. Okay, a black like structures coming out, we call it as tadpoles. We know that so here what happens, we know that the tadpoles are coming out. So they attach themselves to the leaves of the leaves. Okay, they will be attaching themselves to the leaves. Okay, they will be attaching themselves to the leaves. Okay, next the tadpoles grow among the weeds. Okay, usually weeds, you know that they will be attaching themselves to the leaves called as weeds. Okay, they will be attaching to the weeds. Weeds are nothing but the extra unwanted plant. Okay, it is the unwanted plant which grows. Okay, it is the unwanted plant. So here this tadpole will be growing, it will be attaching themselves to the leaves. Okay, that is nothing but the weeds. So here what happens, now this tadpoles, they grow among these weeds until they're big enough. Okay, they're enough to break free into the water. Okay, till they move freely in the water, till they are able to move freely in the water, till that this tadpoles will be attached to the weeds. Okay, till that they will be attached to the weeds. So here what this tadpole will do, it will just feed on this weeds. Okay, it will feed on the weeds itself. The tadpole will feed on the weed itself and it uses the camouflage to protect itself. We already learnt in grade 4. Okay, we already learnt in grade 4 what is camouflage. C-A-M-O-U-F-L-A-G-E. Camouflage. So camouflage means what? What is camouflage, children? I guess you already remember. Yes, so start changing its like it will be blending towards the surroundings. Yes or no? So here also what to say, the camouflage. Okay, this tadpole will start using its camouflage. Yes or no? We already learnt in grade 4 in the adaptation in animals. Yes or no? So here also the tadpole will start camouflaging itself. Okay, to protect itself it will start camouflage. Okay, so camouflage, it starts changing its color. Okay, or it can blend towards the surroundings. Okay, so it starts changing its colors towards the the surroundings. Okay, so that it can protect itself. Okay, it can protect itself. So tadpoles usually look tadpoles look different from adult frog. Okay, tadpoles usually, it is not the adult frog. It will be different from the adult frog. So they usually look like a small fish. They usually will look like a small fish. Understood? They usually will look, usually the similar. Okay, it will not be like a frog. It will usually look like a similar. It will be usually like a small fish. Understood? It will be usually like a small fish. Later on, next what happens with the tail. Okay, they will have a tail and they will breathe through the gills. Okay, it will be, the tadpoles will have tail. They usually look like a small fish. They'll have a tail as well as they will be breathing through their gills. Usually we know that fishes will be breathing through gills. Yes or no? Same way even these tadpoles also will breathe through the gills. They also will breathe through the gills because they similarly look like a fish. They'll have a tail as well as they will be breathing through the gills. Next what happens? These tadpoles will undergo the changes before they look like a frogs. Okay, this tadpole, how the butterfly also will, how the caterpillar also will undergo the changes. Same way, even the tadpoles also will undergo the changes to become like a frog. So metamorphosis we already learned. So now what is metamorphosis? We already learned in the life cycle of a butterfly. So here also the metamorphosis stage will be taking place. Okay, the metamorphosis stage will be taking place. Where? So when the metamorphosis stage takes place, okay, metamorphosis, P-H-O-S-I-S. So metamorphosis, when the metamorphosis stage takes place, at that time this tail will be completely lost. Understood? The tail will be shed off. You can say the tail will shed off. Okay, it will be lost. Okay, the tail will be lost and there will be growing of legs. Okay, growing of legs will take place. Growing of legs. The tail will be completely shed off. Next, the growing of the legs will take place. So next, after few weeks, the tadpoles will develop into the adult frog. After few days, the tadpoles will be developing into the adult frog. So the next last stage you can call it as a adult frog. The last stage we call it as an adult frog. So here what happens in adult frog, after few weeks the tadpoles will develop its legs and their tails will be shortened up. Usually the frog doesn't have tail, yes or no? So in the tadpole itself, after metamorphosis, the tails will be lost. They start growing their legs. So in the adult frog also, so that we know that in the metamorphosis stage, the tails will be lost and growing of legs will take place. Next, what happens is, children, so their lungs will also begin to develop. So here the lungs were not developed because in the tadpole stage it was like a small fish, hence it was like a small fish, hence it was breathing through gills. So now it has changed into, after metamorphosis, it has changed into the adult frog. So when it changes to the adult frog, even its lungs also will develop. As we know that the frogs will be breathing through skin as well as in the lungs. When it is in water, it will be breathing through skin, and when it is on land, it will be breathing through lungs. We already know that. So now this adult frog will start developing, it will start developing its lungs also. Okay, so hence why? Because it wanted to survive on land also. It has to survive on land also. For that purpose, its lungs also will be developed. Okay, its lungs also will be developed. Finally, a fully developed frog will be coming out from the water. Finally, a fully developed adult frog will be coming out from the water. So this is how the life cycle of a frog takes place. That is the first stage eggs, second stage tadpole, the third stage will be the adult frog. And children, I will send you a story. You can just read it. Okay, I will send you a story. You can just read about that is the story on the tadpoles. Okay, life cycle of a tadpole. So you can just read it. I mean life cycle of a frog. So you can just read it, children, so that you can you will have an what to say, you can easily understand. Okay, you can easily understand the life cycle, how the stages one by one, the phase of the stages will be going on. Okay, next, coming to the last topic of this lesson. Okay, last topic, children. The last topic of this lesson is the parental care. We already know the last topic of this lesson. By this we'll be concluding the lesson, children. So in the next class we'll start up with the notes. The last topic is the parental care. Okay, the last topic is the parental care. We already know what is parental care. Yes or no, children? So from the small till we grow to the adult, okay, our parents will start taking care of us. Yes or no? So in the same way, some animals also, they cannot take care of them. Like when they are in the young stage, they cannot take care of themselves. For that purpose, the mothers will start feeding them. Okay, so the mothers will start taking care of the young ones. Yes or no? The mothers will start taking care of the young ones. So they will be feeding them. Okay, then they will later on, we already know mothers usually they feed. Okay, they feed for the young ones till they develop, and when they can take care of themselves, till that the parent will start feeding them, and it will protect, the parents will start protecting their young ones. Okay, children. So finally, we are done with the lesson number 3. So children, if you have any doubts, take it, write it down in the rough note, and in the next class, you can just ask me. After that, we will start up with the notes. Okay, children.